What's up, everybody? We actually have a viewer, bro. We were expecting nobody, so thank you for being here. If you want to jump in the chat, we'll shout you out. This is the bare minimum Chicago. Just gonna preview our upcoming matchup with the Houston Texans this Sunday night. We're gonna recap this Thursday night game as much as it's worth recapping. It's kind of a snoozer. The Bills Bearski. All right, what's up, bro? I'm glad you stayed up. It's kind of a snoozer tonight on Thursday night. Last week we did the Bear necessities, and then we kind of realized that that's already a semi-popular Bears podcast that's out there. So we're trying the bare minimum. We'll see what it is next week. Kind of looking at it like the minimum the Bears need to do to get away with a win type of thing. And the amount of effort we're getting as well. The bare minimum. Brandon, how you doing tonight, bud?
I'm doing good, man. Doing good. How you feeling?
I just got off of work. We're doing these late night ones. We could have called this barely awake too. I mean, like we both get up pretty early and have long days, and this is a time we can get together. We're trying this one live. Maybe we record it next week. We'll see how it goes. But I'm good, man. I feel good. I'm glad to be talking with a buddy right now.
Yeah, for sure. I would agree with you. That was probably the worst football game so far in
we got
2024 season. That was rough, man.
We got spoiled, man. We got spoiled with the
don't been great.
That Thursday night game last week. I'm so glad we got to get on here and talk about that because that was a hell of a game. And then Friday night was a good game. And I mean, it just felt like the hits kept coming, but it was bound to happen, you know. The Dolphins.
I don't mean to say it because I'm a Bears fan, but that was probably pretty close to historical comeback in regards to NFL games.
Thank you, Bearski. While you're in here, hit that like button if you can, my man. We appreciate you spending some of your much valued time with us just to show some love. We appreciate that.
Thanks, Bearski.
Yeah, man. The Dolphins were just bad, man. Like they never really had a chance in that game. I was happy that A-Chain got ruled healthy in the pregame warmups because he's on my fantasy team and he delivered with damn near 30 points tonight. He was their whole offense.
I had Mostert.
You have Mostert
on my bench, obviously. But
yeah, I hope.
Oh, yeah, no, and that I'll say this too, though, man. That I mean, I don't know if the Buffalo's defense looks like it's got some problems too. I know they played well against the Dolphins team that couldn't really get the ball moving, but last week they looked pretty bad, I thought, against Arizona. I mean, there was also a bunch of plays left out there. Saw some Marvin Harrison flagging for the ball.
Yeah, well, the Bills came back and won that game. I expected that game to be closer. This one, I really expected the Bills to win easily. That's what ended up happening. I could have been wrong, but Tua seemed to be concussed before the game even started. He threw 3 picks before they knocked him out of the game. I don't know. I know you said you didn't really watch the game, so I mean, it's tough to recap. Honestly, there's not much to recap. The Dolphins. The one thing I will say about the Dolphins is I've respected Mike McDaniel as a head coach. I love them on the Niners as the run game coordinator and all that, and I like him as a person. But he really shit the bed tonight in that game in terms of how he had his team prepared, in terms of his recognizing the game situation. And
I'm undecided. I'm undecided on him as a head coach, man.
Well, here at the end of that first half, they have the ball. They're down 17-7, I believe, or 24-7 at that point. They need a touchdown to stay in this game, and they move the ball a little bit, and they get stalled out at midfield, and they decide to run a toss play to Devin A-Chain on like 2nd down and 10. They lose 2 yards on that, and they don't call a timeout for like 20 seconds. The clock's at like 50 seconds. They're at midfield, and they don't call a timeout until like 32 seconds. I don't know what Mike McDaniel, I mean, he might have been stoned on the sidelines, bro. He might not have been paying attention. You say you're undecided on him. This game tonight made me kind of really
I'm undecided on him as a head coach. I agree that he'd probably be a phenomenal offensive coordinator anywhere he went. What you just said, man, I mean, he didn't have a grip on it. That's a head coaching thing, you know?
Yeah, it is. And again, you can't be responsible for every throw your quarterback makes in a game. Like you can try to set them up for success. And Mike McDaniel's the offensive guy, and that offense looks pretty at times. But not tonight, man. When you turn the ball over, you can't win. That's really what it
No,
came.
and I've come even through his coaching tenure, this head coaching tenure, man. Me and you have done this year in year out, even when they look good and they're a playoff team.
I
You or I
doubted
don't.
them
We don't take
heavily.
them that seriously.
Yeah.
We really don't. I
Last year
never
going
do.
against Kansas City, going into Kansas City, I knew that was a loss for them. I
Yeah,
didn't really even consider that
hey,
as a
they're hard to take
chance.
seriously, even when they're a good team. I don't
Yeah.
know why.
Well, I mean, it's because of Tua. It's because of Tua, I think, because he's just that quarterback that he looks good when things are going good, but as soon as things get a little bad for him, he starts to look like the worst quarterback in the NFL.
And
He's
then
a
he gets
front runner,
concussed.
huh?
And then he gets concussed.
Well, I mean, he's lucky he got concussed because he would have thrown 2 more picks. He's a front runner when when
Yeah.
things aren't going right. He's a shit, man. That's
Yeah, I
the way
think
I look at it.
me and Dustin, you and I have had this discussion long term. I believe, getting if he takes chances, if that guy bet on himself and walked away from the Dolphins for a larger contract anywhere else, it just wouldn't happen. Even if he was signed,
I mean,
he'd
he
fall.
got the contract. He got the most money that he should have ever expected, and the
Yeah,
Dolphins are going to
remember,
regret giving it to him. This is a Daniel Jones
yeah. Do you
type of
remember having
contract.
this conversation where I told you if he
Mhm.
goes somewhere else, he's going to get paid a gajillion dollars. He's going to go somewhere else and he's going to fail miserably and phase out of the NFL. That was literally my opinion on Tua. So I don't. He can throw all the stats in the world, but I agree with you. Like I said, when it comes to it, and he's about to play a good team when it matters most,
Tua
my
is what
faith is gone.
Tua is what people want to make Brock Purdy out to be. Tua is a system quarterback. He's a complete beneficiary of the system that Mike McDaniel's put in place and the players that are in there running it, the speed. He doesn't have to throw it very far. He doesn't have to throw with much accuracy. He throws short passes to fast guys that take it to the damn house. I mean, last week he made that nice pass to Tyreek Hill for that 80-yard touchdown. And there was a nice fake that he did before it, and he placed it perfectly over Tyreek Hill's shoulder. And he'll do that. But then he'll also do what he did tonight and throw 3 picks. You aren't going to win with Tua Tagovailoa as your starting quarterback in the
Yeah,
NFL. Not
and
anything important.
I hate saying this, man, because people find a way to make it work. People overcome things, but his inability to throw the ball, the deep ball, is. I mean, he
Yeah,
just can't throw very far. He's. It's like
it's a great system, Bearski. It's a great system. Mike McDaniel is a great offensive coach. Whether or not he's a good head coach, I'm not sure yet. I don't think he's answered that question. And Tua in a great system looks great. And like Brandon was saying, if he went somewhere else, I don't know that. I know for sure I don't think you'd be seeing the stats he's putting up in Miami. So, and I do think Miami's going to end up regretting that contract when this is all said and done. I mean, he was the next quarterback up to get paid, and I guess that's how it works. But some guys you don't have to pay. I don't think Tua is one of those guys.
You know
That they
what
have to pay.
it kind of is like. I almost feel like if from what I've seen from him so far, because like you, I'm losing belief. If Bryce Young was in that system, he could play as well as Tua. I really,
This is
I,
yeah.
like. I feel like that's where Tua kind of like it's just, he's not dude. He doesn't have any like the 58-yard recorded pass is his longest. I think it's some ridiculous stat, man. I googled it before. The
Well, I
guy
mean,
can't.
that one on Sunday he threw last Sunday might have been one of his longest, man. I mean, that went for 80 yards. How much he threw it in the air, though, was close to the number you just said. He threw it in the air about 45, 50 yards, probably. I like this here, Brandon. Mahomes, Lamar, Allen, Burrow, Herbert, Rodgers. These are quarterbacks in the AFC. So Tua could be an argument for 7th. I don't know that I would make that argument, but I got to think about that. Like, would you rather have Anthony Richardson or Tua Tagovailoa if you were starting a team right now, Brandon, as your starting quarterback?
If I'm starting a team right now, Anthony Richardson, without a doubt.
Mhm.
Without a
Yeah,
doubt.
for sure. What about Trevor Lawrence?
Talk about deep passes. Did
Do
you
you put
hold on? Did you see Joe Flacco on the bench next to Anthony
when he
Richardson?
threw that pass to Alec Pierce?
And he's like, I've never seen anybody throw it that far, like in a real game, like in a real situation. That's what Joe Flacco said to
That
Anthony Richardson.
he
Joe
was
Flacco's playing
falling
the NFL.
backwards.
Yeah, Joe Flacco's been in the NFL for a long time, dude. Like,
So I think Trevor Lawrence I would put over Tua. I think he would be in that conversation before Tua.
I think he will be for sure. He's probably not right now, but he will be.
He just got paid too, man. He is right now. He's a better quarterback right now than Tua Tagovailoa.
I know. I love Trevor, man, and I think Trevor plays behind a pretty weak front. His offensive line's never been good. They don't do much to change it. He grinds, man, to do. Yeah, there's Tua's really. I don't know. Seventh seems really high, man. I don't know.
No, it's
There's
not, yeah,
five.
that's what I'm saying.
There's
We at least just knocked him to eighth. I want to go through other AFC though. I mean, it's not the Raiders, it's not the Chargers. We got Herbert.
I think the
It's
Steelers for sure are going to be there.
well, we're talking about a quarterback playing better than them, better than
Well,
Tua.
no, we're
So
talking
like,
about a team taking the seventh seed, is what we're talking about, really. I think that was what Paulsky was asking is who's
no,
going to be in that seventh spot besides Tua after these front six? Because
no,
that's
he's
the
talking
last.
about best quarterbacks in the league in the AFC, bro. That's what he's talking about. He's not talking about playoffs.
Oh
Like,
yeah, if it's
yeah,
well,
I think Tua could be eighth, I guess, because I'm running it through my head right now. Deshaun Watson ain't there. Neither one of the Steelers quarterbacks are there. I don't think. Uh, Burrow, we already got. Lamar Jackson, we already got. Yeah, probably eighth, Bearski. And I mean, maybe ninth if you put. Oh, no, hold on. We're missing a big one here, guys. CJ Stroud. CJ Stroud. So Tua is maybe ninth or 10th in the AFC. Yeah, and yeah, if you start comparing him to the NFC quarterbacks, he's going to drop farther and farther. I definitely don't think that he's a good quarterback. I've been on that train for a while, and hopefully I'm wrong. But and here it might be all the thing to take away from tonight. It might not all matter at all because Tua left with a concussion tonight, man. And I made light of it earlier, but that could be a very serious thing for him because he was close to not being able to ever play again
that
at one
is.
point with
Yeah,
those concussions.
I think that is a very serious. I don't think it could be. I think it is. That's a problem for them, man. That's
Well, it's a problem. It could be a problem for Tua's just life. Yeah, and if they just handed him that contract and he can't play football anymore because he could suffer serious brain damage, that could go down as one of the biggest blunders contract wise in NFL history
yeah,
because
because it's
he's
not
had this
like
history
yeah,
already.
it's not like he didn't have the injury
Yeah,
history for sure. No, I
yeah.
agree. Yeah, we've beat the Dolphins up pretty good.
I'll just say that I picked them to be 7-10, man, and
And I picked the Bills to win that division. They're
I
two
had
and
the
zero
Bills
right
at 10
now.
and 7. The Bills looked good tonight. James Cook looked great tonight. Josh Allen looked great tonight. I mean, the defense, like you said. So
I
we've
think
talked enough about that game here
yeah,
already.
for sure. Yeah.
So we're gonna move on to our Bears versus Texans thoughts. What are we starting with this? We're gonna be looking at matchups. We're gonna be looking at matchups we think the Bears can win in this game, trying to kind of predict the game, how we think it's gonna go. Where do we start with this? Where does this game start in
Well,
your
I think we
mind in
should
terms of
start with probably the injury report because that concerned the hell out of me today, man.
let's talk about it.
I mean,
Bring it
it's
in.
Thursday. Bears released their injury report. Both Keenan Allen and Rome Odunze did not participate at all.
Okay, I
Uh,
was just saying how concerning this was on Monday, and you were telling me there was nothing to worry about.
Me? I don't remember
Yeah,
saying that.
well, because
Oh
I
no, I
brought up
said I
Brandon
said
and
that
Dustin.
the wide receiver position is the
That's
one
the one
place
place we can take
the Bears
injuries,
could
but
afford
Keenan
to
Allen
lose
limped
a
off the field
guy,
too.
but you
Yeah,
can't afford to lose two. That takes the whole
that's what I was
dynamic
saying.
away.
Yeah,
Yeah. If you DJ Moore is a threat because of the guys who are supposed to be across from DJ Moore gets more attention. This is where Tyler Scott's got to be a good player, man. If he's on the
well,
field,
I can counter that by saying DJ Moore didn't have anybody like Keenan Allen or Roma Dunze on this team last year, taking attention away from him, and had one of
well,
the best
he also didn't have
receiving seasons in the
Caleb
NFL.
Williams, who's going to try to throw the ball a little more than Justin did, but
So that works in his favor as well in terms of his production. I'm just saying DJ Moore has shown that he can perform as a number one receiver without guys like Rome and Keenan on the field. We already
well,
know.
yeah, he had a good season for sure. He had some bad football games last year, but that might have been attributed to a lot
Thanks,
of
Paul.
the passing game in general. Thanks, Paul.
what that might have been attributed to the passing game in general? What do you, just in terms of the Bears last year? Are you referring to?
I said DJ Moore had some bad games, but that might have last year, but that might have been attributed to the passing game in general because it was terrible.
Yeah, it was
It
awful.
was
Yes.
terribly drawn up. It was terribly
Well,
executed. The
the
quarterback
concern
was terrible.
the concern right now is our passing game looked awful last week, and we're going into a game against a really good team. That Texans team is a top 5 team in the NFL, I think, right now in terms
Yeah,
of how they performed on Sunday.
I'm going to say this after we've had a week to kind of digest that last game and the Bears' offensive performance, and I think the personnel decisions definitely just a blunder. Nobody understands that. That's something you're reading all over every Chicago media source. And the game plan wasn't good, but the play calling to me seemed okay. Like there was play calling that I appreciated out of Waldron in that game, and I think some
Okay,
of the stuff I liked, he was ridiculed for. Like they were like, "Oh, he wasn't like rhythm, move the chains, big shot." It was like, "Oh, run, big shot." Like the big shots worked, man. You know what I mean? There was
they
three.
worked in theory.
Yeah, there was. Well, I
They
mean,
didn't actually
the
work on the
play
field.
call worked. The read was there. You know what I mean? But you got to make those. So I think the
So you're
offense.
saying that can translate to this game in terms of potentially having more offensive success, but then we're also
Well,
saying,
I think they're going to clean up the personnel thing for sure. I really believe that, man. I don't like. I think without Keenan Allen and Roma Dunze, they're going to have DJ Moore and Cole Kmet on the field almost the entire game. That's just going to be my guess. I don't want
well,
to see. I
does
don't want
that
to see
solve
DeAndre Carter and Tyler Scott out there with nobody else. Like that's
does that solve the personnel issue though? Because we've lost 2 awesome players, and these guys are stepping up now because we don't have those
But
2
I think
targets.
he's going to be forced to put the best players on the field because he has less of them. I think that's going to force his hand. But I also think
Well,
there had
that's
to be a
not painting a pretty
conversation
picture.
within the. I mean, that got a lot of attention, man. There had to be a conversation within the organization. Like these guys, I got to be on the field, man. I would imagine that occurred.
Yeah,
Not telling them how to call his, not telling them how to run an offense, but these guys got to be on the field.
you try to jump into your offensive play caller's head when you're seeing that stuff, and it's just like I can't make rhyme or reason out of it in terms of why so few touches for DeAndre Swift, and especially in the passing game. That was where they needed him, and I think they could have utilized him.
Yeah, the
And
collective group of receivers besides Keenan Allen and DJ Moore played more
why?
snaps than Roma
Yeah,
Dunze.
yeah.
What's going on there, man?
Why
I
so
mean,
few opportunities for Rome? Why so few opportunities for Cole Komet to impact the game? And then, and like you're saying, all those things they can lend themselves to Caleb finding a rhythm and
and a
Caleb
fair
finding his way in that game a little better. So I can't make sense of what Waldron. The only thing I can think of, man, is that he thought they're going to be keying on our prime guys so much. I'm going to try to trick them and pull out DeAndre Carter. Like that's the only
another
thing
guy,
that makes
man, that I think
any sense to me.
does have a role to play on this Bears team. He has since the Bears drafted him is Khalil Herbert. He didn't touch the ball enough. I mean, that guy. I don't think Khalil Herbert's a product that shouldn't be on the field based on what he's done so far in Chicago, and I don't think Travis Homer is just a poor man's Khalil Herbert,
DeAndre
man.
Swift, or
Yeah,
even yeah. No, I mean you think about what could be with the Bears in terms of DeAndre Swift and Khalil Herbert, that like potential thunder lightning type of thing that we've had in the past here in Chicago, and it's always fun to watch, and it usually works. It usually leads to a pretty solid run game. So I think if we're talking about this, let's just say straight out, I think the first and biggest key to this game for the Bears to stay in it and competitive, to have a chance to win at the end, is establishing the run game. I think they got to come in here with the thought we need to run it at least 22 times, at least 22 times, and we need to average about 4 to 4.5 yards to carry on those. So like if they come in with that mentality, I think that's a really good start in terms of trying to compete in this game.
yeah, and I think with a rookie quarterback, that should be your approach going into most games, man. I mean, honest, they have a really. I mean, it is a different offense. It's Shane Waldron. He likes to run a little less than gets you to, but I have no doubt then Waldron can draw up a successful rushing offense on a team that ran for I don't even what 135 yards a game last year. I mean,
That allowed.
we took the aspect of Justin Fields out for sure, so it's going to make a huge impact. It is. It's going to make, but still, this is a team that blocks the run well. You know, I mean, that seems to be our offensive line's strengths. Darnell Wright's really the only player who I feel
Is a good pass protector.
a premier pass protecting
Yeah.
player.
No, yeah. Tevin Jenkins is great when he's road grading, when he's moving forward and knocking people out. No, yeah, and so that comes in to play. What's your identity going to be? We were talking about this on Monday with Darius on CSP, man. Like, who are you, and what do you want to be, and is the other team going to know who you are when that game's over? And I think who the Bears need to be, like you just said, is a run team that then utilizes the pass after a team is getting worn out by the run. That makes sense in terms of the personnel we have on offense, and it makes sense in terms of the defense we have. Yeah, that works in lockstep with our defense to be successful.
Even teams with the best quarterbacks in football, like the Chiefs, look at those guys. Pacheco had a major impact in them getting to a Super Bowl and winning it, and he's already had an impact in week 1 of this season. So, like, that's what good football teams do, good balanced football teams, but you should, with a younger quarterback, you should be a run-first mentality team for sure.
Yeah, and
you're just alleviating more pressure on a young quarterback. If that's
when we're talking about our offensive line against their defensive line with that run game that we both think the Bears need to establish, do you think that that's a win, a matchup win for the Bears in this game, or do you think that that's a matchup that the Texans can win, their defensive line versus our offensive line?
I think the Bears are going to have to run between the tackles. That's what I think. I think the Bears are going to have trouble getting to the edge, and I also think that you're almost better off letting those two guys in on some plays. You know what I mean? Giving them a chip, letting them by you, and seeing if you can't get Swift past those two. I mean, the two best players on their defense are on both sides of that line, I think, for sure.
We're talking about Will Anderson and Danielle Hunter.
Yeah. So I don't like they both set the edge pretty well, man.
Let's play a game. Let's play a game called Name That Houston Texans Defensive Tackle.
I don't know.
Name
yeah, no, and I don't remember them defending the run very well last year either. I mean, I do think that eventually.
And they lost DJ Reader.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
Oh no, I'm stupid. Sorry,
yeah.
He was on the Bengals. He was on the Bengals last year.
Yeah, and he's on the Lions now. Yeah,
he was on the Texans before the Bengals. My apologies.
Oh, but no, I do think DeMeco Ryans will eventually have a probably top 10 defense in the NFL. But I don't know if this is the year. Still missing some pieces. That back into that secondary, man, is another place that can be exploited.
Mario Adams is one of their defensive tackles. I could have given the former Bear, right? Mario Adams. Is that what I'm thinking?
We had an Adams. Like, I don't know. Yeah, could be him. But
no, that's Mario Addison.
I was going to say it would have been a very depth piece on the Chicago.
This was a bad time to take up smoking weed again, dude. I'll tell you.
Yeah, I don't know, man. I think the Bears would be able to establish the run on this team a little better.
Folu Runsu Futukasi is their other defensive tackle. I don't know who these guys are.
God bless you.
Futukasi.
But yeah, I think the Bears are gonna be able to run on this team a little better than they did last week. I hope that they run better on every team than they did last week. But I think this is a team that their offense will play better. Our offense against that tandem back in Tennessee, man. Those two guys, Sweat and
Simmons, made it for
up front, man.
Yeah, we knew that was going to be the tough thing here. So hopefully, in this game, we minimize their pass rush by, like you said, running up the middle, running by those guys, getting them to chase the run around for a good portion of this game and wear them out. And I mean, you've made the point, and I agree. Like they're good run defenders. Will
Yeah, oh yeah,
Anderson,
for sure.
Will Anderson
Both
and Dale
guys think
Hunter are both good against the run. So that's something you want to make sure you try to just wear them out, really, because on defense, those are the two guys that can hurt you. So if we let them tee off on Caleb Williams all day, it's going to be a problem. If Caleb Williams comes out and throws 30 passes in this game, that's not a recipe for success for the Bears to beat the Texans. Your plan cannot be Caleb Williams attempting 29 passes. We got to put a cap on that. I'm thinking like 20 to 22 passes. And like I said, at least 22 rushes. I mean, that's 45 plays. That's about what the Texans had to put up against them last week in that Colts game. So obviously we're a little higher than that, hopefully, in terms of the plays we run. But my main point is that we don't let Caleb get his head taken off in this game. We have to protect him.
And you have a game plan based on your identity, because that's something they got to figure out. It's just they're not going to win any games if they approach this the same way they did week one. Obviously, that was scripted very poorly.
What do you think their identity is? What's the Bears' identity?
I think it's going to be a team that can efficiently run the ball. I think if they get behind that left side of the line with Jenkins and Jones, those guys have done this for 2 years, better than maybe two players next to each other in the NFL. Run the ball. And I think when they get defenders out of the box, that's when these guys maybe even start playing zone, Caleb's going to pick them to pieces. They didn't do anything like that, man. Like the whole the Titans' entire defense was like up on the line the entire game, and it was probably confusing the hell out of him too. You know what I mean? They were kind of hiding coverage. You know what I mean?
Dropping back blitzers in the coverage, dropping linemen back,
disguise and things. Yeah, like we need to dictate that a team can't play their game on defense. That's what you need to do for Caleb.
Yeah, and I think it's the only way to do that is to run the football. So I think DeAndre Swift is in for. I feel silly saying this because I was touting him so high last week, and he just literally, man, you watch that YouTube. I was watching the YouTube highlights of the Bears Titans game, and there's that one run where they give it to Swift to go outside, and he makes a guy miss, and then he literally jumps over a person, and you're just he lands and keeps running for another 8 yards. He looks like he's in great shape,
incredible
like he's ready to roll.
Yeah. He was doing some workout videos, man, in the off season with Roschon Johnson.
I mean, but you see that
his workout regimen's intense.
Yeah, it is, and you see that play, and you're just like, how did we not do this more in this game? There, if you watch that game, I mean, there's like 5 of those plays where they really give him a chance to get out into the open field and make something happen.
The guy had less than 40 receptions in one season of his career. I'm not targeting him once a game. You know what I mean? I am intentionally throwing, not as a check down. I mean, I'm drawing something up for Swift to catch the ball at least 3 or 4 times a game, dude.
The best offensive play in that game was the 2-point conversion that they drew up directly for DeAndre Swift.
Yeah,
when he ran into motion.
That's why I truly believe that's why Ryan Poles brought this guy here. Is you can put a package together for Swift. He's one of those players where you just get the ball in his hands, man. I mean, how easy is that for a running back? And we couldn't do that last week. It's just, I mean,
yeah. So that's what gives me pause in saying DeAndre Swift is going to have a big game here, because it's just like, are they going to put him in a position to? I don't have confidence in that right now. That's hard. And I'm not saying the sky's falling, but are they going to wake up to what they need to do with this running back that they have on their team that can really be an ultimate weapon for an offense in this league, in my mind? And he looks like he's ready to do it.
Well, and it's at least now with 1 week in the books, they can identify their failures, man. And I'm sure the coaching staff is like, we didn't give Swift the ball. You know, like somebody in that room better be saying what we're saying right now, guys. We're podcasters. This is pretty identifiable if you're just giving it the eye test. So they've got to know where they failed for sure. That'll help them get better and put a better game.
Do you think that the Texans have the necessary people on their defense to deter the Bears from running like the Titans? It seems like the Titans did this past week.
No, I do think it's going to be tougher for like I would love to hear that Roshan Johnson was able to play in this game. I think this is going to be a game that's a little bit tougher to run outside. I think the Bears are going to have to run in between the tackles. I do. I think they're going to kind of have to jam the ball down the Texans' throat.
I don't
And
hear
then,
DeAndre Swift's bell's not ringing in my head when you say run between the tackles.
no, that's what I'm saying to you. I said that's why I started this by I wish I'd read that Roshan Johnson was going to play in this game because that's where I think you could do most of your damage against
So
this
you think
Texans.
Khalil Herbert is the X factor in this game? Is that a stretch to say that?
Well, I don't know. Is Travis Homer going to be on the field? I don't know. I don't know.
Well, if you're saying that they realized their mistakes, I mean, was
I
that
think
one of them?
DeAndre Swift is going to have a phenomenal game catching the ball. That's
Okay.
what I think. I think,
So they have.
especially man,
Go
especially
ahead.
this is where Caleb is at his best with this like the angles that he throws at is when a defensive end is coming at him, he just finds a way around the body of a player. You know what I mean? With little sidearm passes and stuff, or just little like floaters. He does these things. So like, if Swift can get behind these guys and turn around, I think
Well,
that'll
they
be a
do
nice.
have Aziz Al Shahir as their top linebacker on Houston. I mean, he was a former Niner, I'm pretty sure, and he's a great he's a great linebacker. Actually, I mean, he's always been underrated throughout his career. He's really pretty solid in coverage for a linebacker. So that's somebody that could play a role in negating that for the Bears and DeAndre Swift. But their other linebacker,
I mean,
Jake Hansen,
I don't
Christian
doubt you, man.
Harris,
I don't know much about Shahir. I don't doubt you, but
he's a good player.
you have to be pretty damn good if you caught with DeAndre Swift in an open field. That's for sure.
No, yeah, I agree with you. I agree with you. So we think the Bears can establish. We want some thunder and lightning. We want Khalil Herbert running through the tackles, and we want DeAndre Swift outside catching the ball, making some big plays, maybe some swing passes, maybe some sweeps, maybe some screen passes, some pitches. Do you think
Yeah,
they're going to try to run outside on these defensive ends?
yeah, I think they will. I think that's kind of the Bears with the personnel they have with Swift and Herbert. That's where they're at their best. So I think you're going to, of course, You're going to try to establish that. I mean, these guys set the edge really well, man. So
Mm-hmm.
you better be quick. But I'm sure they'll break one or two outside for sure. They seem to do that every game. But that's where Swift had that run, right? The big run.
Yeah, it was to the outside.
Yeah.
Yep. Yeah,
So
and that's where you want to get them, right?
yeah,
Yeah, so
Herbert has his most success outside. We've seen that for 2 years. But I, I think the Bears' rushing offense is going to do okay in this game. I do, man. I think they're going to run the ball well. I
then
think you're.
that's one check mark towards potentially winning this game in my mind,
Yeah.
because that's going to be the thing that sets the tone for the rest of their offense. If they can come out and actually stay committed to the run and get some good yards per carry, keep Caleb in some nice short third and twos, third and manageables versus what he
Well,
was dealing with in this past Sunday, then he's going to perform a lot better.
and
I
just to
believe
cap
that.
off the run talk, man, I don't. This isn't in his repertoire, I should say, Caleb Williams, but he does it if he needs to, if it's required. Anthony Richardson ran the ball. He ran the ball pretty efficiently against that Houston team. So if
That's
Caleb,
Anthony Richardson's thing. Like you were saying, it's not really Caleb. We saw Caleb run in a few spots where he had to. He had the one scramble for the first down on 3rd and 10, which was a great run. And then he had the other one that put the Bears in field goal position that we didn't really touch on much, where he scrambled for about 5 yards and just did the nice slip and slide. And that was the difference in a 55-yard field goal and a 50-yard field goal. So
yeah,
that was a good run there too.
yeah, so he could probably, take a little chunk yardage out of these guys on his legs.
That will be interesting to see. I mean, I think I saw Kyle saying he needs to run for 30, 40 yards in this game. That's a
I
lot for
mean,
Caleb, but I guess a couple good
if
ones and you're there.
well, and this kind of team is a team where a quarterback that can move is super beneficial, man. When those defensive ends get behind you, the best way is forward. You know what I mean? So
That was the biggest thing that stood out to me in that Texans Colts game is like how much magic CJ Stroud was able to work in that pocket by stepping up, not running outside, stepping up inside the pocket, maneuvering around a couple of the guys. But those edges were coming around the behind him, and he just stepped right up into it because the defensive tackles were not getting pressure. When I watched that film of the Colts versus the Texans, the defensive tackles for the Texans were not pushing the pocket the way Jeffrey Simmons and Tavondre Sweat were against the Bears. Now, whether that's because our offensive line sucks so bad, or because those two are really good, or a combination of both, and the Texans defensive tackles not being as good, it looks like there's some potential there for Caleb to work the pocket, Drew Brees style, really kind of just stay in the pocket. Don't try to get outside too much unless it's designed. You'll be able to step up and find some receivers because you can buy. CJ Stroud bought a lot of time in that pocket against the Colts. DeForest Buckner had a decent shot at him a couple of times, but that's something we could see happening for the.
Yeah, I think we haven't gotten to that side of the ball yet, man. But I think the defensive ends on the Chicago Bears are going to have a little bit of trouble with this team.
I disagree with you. This is a good thing to talk about. I think because
so.
No, let's hear yours first.
First off, who's the Houston left tackle?
The left tackle is Laramie Tunsil, and he is a beast. He is your man crush. Darrell Taylor is going to have a hard time having the same impact in this game that he had on Sunday against the Titans, because Laramie Tunsil is great, and he knows exactly what to do every time. If you blitz on his side, he knows who to pick up. He knows who the running back's going to pick up behind him. He doesn't get fooled, and he's got a great back pedal, and you're not getting by him, bro. I don't even with speed, because he can beat you out to that.
Yeah, so I think they're gonna have. I think the Bears ranked second in the NFL last week in pressures. I think that number's going to drop against this Texans team.
Now here's the other side. Titus Howard can be had. Titus Howard did not look good against the Indianapolis Colts, and that's the matchup I want to see, because I'm curious if they're going to be using an extra blocker to work with Titus Howard against Sweat, and if that takes away one of their passing options, because I saw Titus Howard get turned around multiple times against the Colts. I saw him just let guys go by him. There was one play where he let a guy beat him all the way to the edge, and the guy was going to take out CJ Stroud if he didn't slip and fall. I don't remember who the guy was for the Colts, but Titus Howard can be beat, and I think pretty handily, by a guy like Montez Sweat.
And I want to dive deep into the defense against this Houston offense, because that's my favorite part of this game. Obviously after last week, that's probably everyone's. Yeah. But I do want to say about that offensive line, about our Bears offense last week, they couldn't really execute. Guys, I went back and watched a lot of this game 2 or 3 times. They could not really execute anything that Waldron probably wanted to achieve in that game, because that interior offensive line was terrible.
The amount of pressure that it was causing,
it was terrible. That derailed everything I'm sure the Bears wanted to do. There's plays, man, where Caleb's making the right pass, the receiver's wide open in stride. It's going to be a big play, and somebody gets in and bats the ball down or hits his arm on the throw. It's just like, man, this really, really. And then there's the 2 plays I told you about, man, where the first scramble, Nate Davis gets just run over, and then the play that Keenan Allen was open doing the slant route to the end zone. Coleman Shelton, I don't know who the linebacker on the Titans was, but Coleman Shelton just got.
I think it was Kenneth Murray.
Train wrecked, man. What's that?
Was it Kenneth Murray?
I don't know the play app is so too quick when I'm watching the replay. You don't get a good angle at it, but man, it was bad. It's got to be better. It's got to be better against this Texans team.
Well, I think we mentioned that the Texans do have Tim Settle, who's their rotational defensive tackle for him. I like him. He's a big boy. He eats up space. But they're between Mario Adams, this other guy whose name I can't pronounce and I'm not going to try again, and Tim Settle. They don't match up with just Jeffrey Simmons in terms of impact on a game. So that's going to make a huge difference, I think, in terms of how the Bears are able to approach this game. I think
Yeah, because when I say run between the tackles, that also implies as well that they need to be better. You know what I mean? That's not achievable if those guys up front can't create some space, can't push people, man.
I haven't seen anything or heard anything in regards to Coleman Shelton. I mean, I imagine he's going to start again this Sunday. That's
Yeah, I think
the
he
plan.
is, man. That's what I initially thought. I do think he is. I don't think they've made any changes.
And Bates has been on the injury report, so does that mean Nate Davis is rolling back out there?
I don't love it anyway, man. I don't love it either way. It's just,
It's
but
it's the biggest concern for sure. And I
so
mean,
where do
we
you
were
think?
just talking about
So we were talking about running the ball. That's how we got it. But I want to talk about where do you think the Bears win on offense?
where do the Bears win on offense?
Yeah, in terms of personnel.
I'll tell you, man. Derek Stingley is a pretty good
Stingy.
corner. Stingley, he's a pretty good cornerback. But he can be had too. There's a couple. There's like the Texans have these guys that are really good, really talented players, but they also have some things that can be exploited. And I think Stingley is one of them. I mean, he had a great season last year, and he's turning into one of the best cornerbacks. And I loved him coming out of LSU. Man, he's a hell of a player. What
The
he's really
Texans
good,
though weren't
huh?
ranked very. They weren't very ranked very high last year against the pass, were they?
No, 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 no. I mean, I don't have the numbers off the top of my head, but
I think they
you
were
can
somewhere
pass.
right behind the middle of the pack. I believe
Yeah,
is
yeah.
where they somewhere like
No, no, they're
15th.
susceptible to it. I mean, in their backfield, they got Stingley, Lassiter as the other cornerback. They got Jimmy Ward as a safety. He's another ex-Niner. These guys coming to play
Yeah,
for D'Amico Ryans.
Jimmy. He's not playing the football he played on the Niners.
He's better against the run for sure
Yeah.
than he is against the pass. So I mean, they could potentially be exploited there. The one thing that I will say though with Stingley is he is really, really good at. He gets beat a little bit, but then he sticks with his guy and he finds a way to be right there when the ball gets there. He finds a way to make it a contested catch at the last second, and he finds a way to undercut underthrown deep balls and come away with interceptions. So that's something the Bears are going to have to. Caleb's going to have to be very cognizant of that. He's often trailing the receiver. So underthrown balls, like he's not trailing him by much, but he's like right behind him, and he finds a way to make that last second burst to get to that ball. And if it's underthrown at all, he's going to take it away from you. And so that's something to watch with Caleb, I think. But I think the Bears receivers at full strength could beat this secondary. But if Keenan Allen is he'll probably play, and he'll probably play on a limited basis, which means he'll play Keenan Allen football, right? Like you were saying last week. Roma Dunze, I don't know. I don't have a good feeling about it. When you say week to week, I don't expect you playing the first week after that's announced. I don't expect you to play the first game after a week to week has been announced, man. I just don't. So I don't expect the Dunze to play.
No, and as much as I want a Dunze out there, a sprained MCL can always turn into a torn MCL. So like
Yeah.
if the Bears need him
Like
to
maybe let's just
sit it
sit this
out,
one. Yeah.
that's cool, man. I get it. Yeah, and this is and the reality is there. I guess when we're talking about the offense, guys, is if Keenan Allen and Roma Dunze both get ruled out of this game, some players need to step up. You're going to need to see that out of this Chicago Bears team. I think Tyler Scott, if he's given the opportunity, can be a really good player, and I wouldn't mind seeing him out there if both these guys aren't able to play. And I think Cole Kmet's somebody that needs to be on the damn field more often than not.
Okay. Now, I didn't expect the Bears to win this game at full strength. I just since this record is since the schedule's been announced, I've had this as a loss on the Bears record throughout. I just think
Well,
here let me. I just think that the Texans right now, after you watch last week's games, are a top 5 team in the NFL, and there's no way I'm putting the Bears anywhere close to them on that list right now.
no, and I agree. I think we all picked Houston winning this game, and it's not like week one, dissuade our opinion on that. But I will say this: I think this is a game Caleb's going to play well in, and I know people were like, "Well, we said that all off season, and he busted week one." It's like I didn't lose faith. I still believe Caleb Williams is the Caleb Williams we all expect him to believe, and this is a game in which I could see that kind of coming out.
Okay. I mean to you, like from a whether it's from a statistical perspective or an
No,
outcome perspective,
I
or
think it.
because you're saying you don't think they're going to win. So what's him
He
playing
puts
well
them.
mean
He
in this
puts
game?
them in a. He puts them in a position to score. That's what I think he does, and I think the
Okay,
Bears aren't going to get like run out of town in this game. I don't know what the spread is, but
it's 6.
6, yeah, figured somewhere
I
around
think it
there.
got up to 7 at one point. It's moved a little bit, but yeah, last I saw it was 6. I mean, a couple
I
weeks
love.
ago it
I
was three and a
well,
half.
why I believe the Bears can. The Bears did this last year, man. They played really quality football teams, and they managed to hang in there. They managed to play with guys, compete with some of the better teams in football. They beat the Lions last year. They played the Browns in a really tough game that they probably should have won, honestly. But I think this defense is a problem for CJ Stroud. So let's jump to that side of the ball because that's where the games in which CJ Stroud played poorly, I don't necessarily. He's really well. He's really good under pressure, man. He really is. That's one of the things that's impressed
The
me most
magic
about.
he
This
makes,
is this is where I
dude.
expected CJ Stroud to be the worst when he was being drafted, and he's
That's
under
quite the
pressure.
opposite.
He's an incredible decision maker, but if
Dude,
his
did you see him
receive
throw a? Did you see him throw a pass from his knees in last week's game? He fell down
no,
and made a completion for a first down on 4th down from his freaking knees, dude. From his
yeah,
knees.
and I mean he's a good football player all around, and
Hmm.
he's decisive, and he makes he processes quickly, man. That's the thing that's impressed me the most about him, and that makes a successful quarterback in the NFL for sure. But I don't necessarily think it's pressure that made him play poorly in the games that I kind of looked through before we started the show tonight, Dustin. Last year, I think it was first
Disguise
off
coverages.
games were he was missing receivers
Okay.
because of injuries, but this Bears team can just take a receiver out of your game. I mean, they can. They,
So I mean, in regards to that, man, the Bears cornerbacks are freaking awesome. I really there's not you're gonna find a lot of people that think more highly of them than me. But when you look at this receiving core,
oh, it's spread.
it's
It's
it
spread.
start. It's not even that. It starts with Nico Collins, man. This guy might
He's
be
he's
the
he's
most
my
underrated. He might be the most underrated receiver in
he was
football.
on my he's my sit 'em in fantasy this week. Nico Collins.
I don't know, man. I don't know how you take him out of a game. I don't know that it's been done. It's in a
I had him.
while.
I had him in fantasy last year, man. He had some real down weeks.
It's just more like he can do everything really well. He's a really great route runner. He's really great at contested catches. He's really great at getting separation. He's great across the middle, and he can beat you deep. Like he's got and he's a
He's
physical guy. He's a
he's good
big
with
guy.
his. He's good with the. He's good after the catch. Is where I think I like him
That
most.
that's the other thing I was gonna say. He breaks a tackle almost every time he touches the
And
ball.
he's really good in the red zone. But
So
last week,
like I
last week the offense scored 2 passing touchdowns, and they went to the same receiver.
they went to
Stephon.
Stephon Diggs, but
Yeah.
that's because all the attention was going to Nico Collins, man. Nico Collins, I honestly might be a top 5 receiver in football by the time the season's over, man. I really think that just watching his
I
film,
don't
the
love
guy
Nico
is
Collins. I like Nico Collins, man. I do. I don't love Nico Collins
unbelievable.
against Jalen Johnson. I don't love Nico Collins against Tyreek Stevenson. I think
Well, yeah,
those
that's the
guys.
thing with the Bears secondary, right? Is like Jalen's on one side, and that's where he's staying. We're in a cover 2. Tyreek Stevenson is on the
Yeah,
other
these
side.
guys don't. I said this on the
Mhm.
fantasy show I did with Bearski. These guys don't chase receivers
No,
because
no,
in the
they're
team they
because we
don't
play a
don't
cover
play that
2.
much.
We're not playing man to man, so there's no point in doing that. So they'll try to move Nico Collins around a lot to get him different matchups and find out what he can exploit. If they do find something though, they're gonna stick with it. And then like you just said, man, if you take Nico Collins out, say you bracket him in that zone every time he's on that side of whatever side of the field. Now you still have Tank Dell, who is scary. Like he's scary. How much he can fly by a defense, how quickly he can do it, and how effortlessly. It's scary just watching it, man. And you say you take him out of the game, and then you still have Stephon Diggs, who, like you just mentioned, scored 2 touchdowns last week. So it's like the Bears secondary is going to end up being a top 5 unit in this league by the time the season's done. I've been saying that. But this is a very tough matchup where I could see it going either way, man. I really could. Even if you shut down one of them, or if you manage to shut down two of them, which is going to be really hard, you're still dealing with another one, like another great play. Whether you shut down Diggs or Collins, Dell is still there, man. So that's a little scary to me.
Yeah, this is still where I love this game, man. That's still where I love this game. I
I think it's the matchup that decides the game.
I just love the secondary against CJ Stroud. Most importantly, that this secondary does a really good job. First off, at playing press, they're aggressive at the line. That's going to be a problem for a guy like Tank Dell for sure. And then you got a guy like Gordon who you can send back there after CJ, man, who's, I mean, one of the most athletic players in football. And then Byard kind of, the one thing that, I mean, like I said, guys, I admitted it, that Calvin Ridley got behind that defense once for sure against Tennessee. But the safeties didn't give anything up besides that one pass, man, back there on the back end.
I'm waiting to see the Brisker moment where he allows people to beat him, or if the Bears allow that to him to be in that position. Let's not forget. I mean, I expect Brisker to have a breakout season. I really do. But in terms, we haven't seen him be tested in coverage yet. And last year when we saw him get tested in coverage, he failed often.
That wasn't good.
No, it's not. And if he's stronger against the run. We all know that. But he needs to improve a little bit in that pass coverage, especially in a game where you're playing at the Texans, because the amount of weapons they have is crazy. And you talked about Gordon going after the quarterback. He's going to have to be in coverage a lot in this game. I mean, the blitz is going to be – they might draw 1 or 2, 3 up maybe at some opportune times, but – they're going to need him in coverage.
Well, I like Connor Gordon coverage too.
Guys.
I just think that's a strength that might affect this Texans team, is his ability to blitz. But I like Gordon in coverage.
Here's the thing. You hope you don't have to blitz in this game. You hope that you can get home with 4 guys, because you need to focus on coverage against this team.
Darrell Taylor's going to have another game like he did last week.
He's going to be more often than not matched up against Laramie Tunsil, so good luck with that. That's not going to happen, I don't think. Montez Sweat is where it happens, bro. Montez Sweat is where it happens. And then, is there a cascading effect of them trying to send so much attention at Montez Sweat? Because I think they're going to find out pretty early that Titus Howard cannot handle Montez Sweat, not on his own. I think that's going to be shown pretty early in the game, whether it's with hurries or a sack or however it shows itself. They're going to figure that out quickly. They're going to need to send some extra attention Sweat's way. Does that open something up for Dexter? Does that open up that?
Or does that open something up for Darrell Taylor? Does that mean they're going to want Darrell Taylor? The Bears are going to want to put Darrell Taylor on that side and let Tunsil swallow Sweat up?
That would make no sense if you're the Bears. That would make no sense if you're the Bears, man. Because why would you take out your best pass rush and put them against the best pass blocker when you can find a weak link?
Sweat's not going to play on one side or the other the entire game, no matter what.
If I was the Bears, I would. I'd line him over Titus Howard every.
He literally just did an interview, man, where he said one of his favorite things about being on this Bears team is they let him play multiple positions. They let him play all over the field. That's what he said.
I understand that could be his favorite thing, but your favorite thing is getting after the quarterback. Line up over Titus Howard is what I'm saying.
Well, line up wherever. That's Flus is going to draw it up, man. I don't know, but I think they're going to get. I think they can get to Stroud. I think they're going to put some pressure on Stroud. Not.
That's the key to the game.
Not as much as last week, but I think they will.
That's the key to the game for them on defense, because they're going to have to play really good coverage, and hopefully it's not for a long time against these receivers. Because if it's for any extended period of time, more than a couple of seconds, someone's going to beat you. One of those 3 receivers is going to beat you. I don't care how good your secondary is. They know where they're going. Yeah. And you don't. And so if the Bears don't get pressure with 4, it's going to be a long game for Bears fans.
Yeah, just to clarify, guys, we did both pick Houston in this game.
Yeah.
For months now, really. But
yeah, I've had that as a loss every time I've looked at this schedule since it was released. And again, nothing's changed. I'm less confident right now than I was before they played the Bears played the Titans.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. So and I see some people picking the Bears, and that's hopeful. I don't think you're being realistic, because if you just go watch the film of these 2 games that were played last week, I think that I think the Colts are a better team than the Titans, and the Texans. They did they established the run with Joe Mixon. They carried the ball 32 times with Joe Mixon, and Stephon Diggs still had 2 touchdowns. That's that's pretty impressive. That's pretty impressive when you can get the ball distributed amongst your receivers and still run the ball that many times
Yeah,
and do it
see,
successfully.
we talked about the addition of Stephon Diggs, man, and how much talent they have at the wide receiver, but
Joe
that
Mixon.
Joe Mixon signing was one hell of a signing because they were struggling last year to find run. You remember?
Yeah,
There was a
well,
few
they found
players.
it with Devin Singletary at the
Yeah,
end of
they
the
did. I
year.
was gonna say there was a few players up until Singletary actually kind of broke it at the end a little
Damian
bit, but
Pierce.
bad year, yeah.
He's still
But
on that team, but
the acquisition of Mixon makes a pretty big difference for this offense for sure, and a pretty big difference for a defense that's playing them. So that's another place the Bears. I mean, I have Edwards and see. I love this back end of the Bears defense, man. I really do. And last week I was impressed with the front four too. So we'll see what
that's
this let's see what
that's
this
what
defense can be. Let's see if this can be one of those defenses, man, that's just impossible for anybody to win against. You know what I mean?
that's our biggest hope for this game, I think.
For
And again,
this season, man. Honestly, like we won't want to see
yeah.
Caleb succeed. Obviously, that's the most important thing that happens this year. But to win, this Bears team could win more games than they probably should or predicted to if their defense can be one of those, like that 2018 defense we watched where teams just don't score.
Well, I think it, the bonus on top of that could be that Caleb will improve and this offense will improve. And if this defense is lights out all year, how does that start to come together come November and December? That's where you
Yeah.
really start to salivate. If you think about those things, it's like the defense might carry us for the first few weeks and keep us in games and help us win some games. But eventually this offense is gonna come around and figure it out. I'm not feeling great about it right now, but you know that if they're going to figure it out, you expect that. So if those two things start coalescing together come wintertime, Bears could be a problem.
Yeah,
This week though,
I certainly would have felt a lot better about the Bears offense in week 2 if it was just the adrenalized Caleb Williams mistakes. You know what I mean? The overhyped, overfired Caleb missed throws. But there was definitely more problems. I mean, all the way up to
yeah,
coaching
and
for
those
sure. So
problems stemmed from the people deciding the
that's what I'm
game plan.
saying. Up to
Yeah.
the coaching staff.
Mhm.
That's what discourages me. That's like really it, man.
Yeah. So
Yeah. So
we're counting on the defense, and I think if we're talking about that, I've said it. I'm just going to say it one more time. Not blitzing, getting pressure with your front four, that's going to be the key to making this a game. I really think so. You're not going to be able to send people out of this secondary into a blitz and be successful against CJ Stroud, like you just talked about. He makes a lot of magic in the pocket. He finds ways to get out, throw, and these guys are really hard to cover when he does that. The receivers that they have out there, and then we said you throw in Joe Mixon into that. I feel super confident that the Bears can commit to stopping the run and have success doing that based on what I saw on Sunday. That we just talked about what we're not confident in. I'm super confident in the Bears making the adjustments they need to make to shut a part of a team's offense down. And if that's part of the offense is the run, I feel even a little better about that.
yeah, and I would imagine I'll bet you, man. I don't have the numbers on me, but I'll bet you if you go back and look and those bad performances CJ had last year were probably the least efficient running games they had last season. You know what I mean? I'd
Yeah, yeah.
imagine those two are intertwined. So that could mean success for this Bears defense, guys.
Well, you
But
saw it.
the
Yeah.
offense getting enough to win this game, that's where I see them fall short, honestly.
You saw it where the Texans started to gain momentum and make that run to the playoffs is when Devin Singletary started running all over people. That was a big part of their success, going into the playoffs last year. So if the Bears can eliminate one part of this game, it can be the run. And I think that making the Texans one-dimensional could create some problems for them for sure. If we're talking about like how we can see it happening, that's it. You take away the run, you enable yourself to just get after the quarterback, and hopefully you can get there and put some pressure on him to where his throws are affected. Now this becomes a game.
Yeah, for sure, man. I mean, pressure on if you don't get pressure on bad quarterbacks, they make you look bad. So if you're not getting pressure on CJ, it's a wrap. I mean,
Mhm.
it's it,
So yeah, I
that's
guess
good.
it's a pretty generic statement, but
Yeah,
that's what football is. It's like it's pretty freaking simple. You know, if you get to their quarterback before they can throw the ball, that means good things for you.
I mean, that's just old school like football, man. Get pressure and run the damn ball. Get
That's what
pressure on
football is, though.
get pressure
You,
on defense and run on offense,
I
man.
mean,
Just
football is old school, bro. No, it always will be. Like we
yeah.
saw it tonight with the Bills and the
Well, it's
Dolphins.
just like this
Dolphins got
recipe. It's
the
just honestly, gameplay football game planning football just revolves around mistakes, right? How can we eliminate as many offensive mistakes as possible, and how can we force as many mistakes on defense as we can? You know what I mean? Like when you run the ball well, it's just less chance for error. That's why a young quarterback needs to be in a place that can run the damn ball. Like that should have been Waldron's mindset. You know, we're lucky Caleb didn't throw a pick, and some of those balls, man,
There was like three of
just
them that should
getting
have been.
popped up
There
in
was
the
like
air.
at least three of them that should have been picks.
Yeah,
That
so like
that we're lucky they weren't. Yeah.
let's just eliminate some chances for mistakes. Let's just do that. Let's start with that in week 2. Let them get comfortable. Even if this Bears lose this game against a playoff team last year, just make sure Caleb comes out and feels comfortable. that's that's really all we're asking from our offense at this juncture after last week, honestly, man.
Well, that makes me think of something that I think is a good talking point, and can help level us out as Bears fans going into this game. How bad do you really feel losing to the Houston Texans? Like how if you play a competitive game and Caleb Williams, progresses from last week to this week, and we're entertained by the game, where it's not just a beat down the whole game, but the Bears lose, like kind of like that Ravens Chiefs game last week, where the Ravens lost that game, but I don't think you could feel better about a loss than that loss because they shouldn't even have been in that
Yeah,
game, and they were playing the,
it was
the
by a
defending
toe.
champions.
Yeah.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
how close it was. If the
Smallest
Bear,
margin
I don't
loss.
know if that'll be the way that game goes on Sunday, but all I'm saying is if they keep it close, they stay competitive, they never quit, and they're in a game with the Houston Texans, who a lot of people I've seen pick to go to the Super Bowl this year.
Well, more
From where the
importantly,
Bears are coming from, I think that's
and more
you can
importantly,
call that a moral victory, and
I've
and
seen
I,
a
I'd be okay with it.
I've seen a bunch of people pick the Bears, more importantly, with 9 or 10 wins. So when you're looking at that schedule, guys, and you're thinking, even
Where are
maybe
the
say even
losses?
11, when you're looking at that schedule and you're thinking 7 losses for the Bears if they win
Six
10 games,
losses, seven losses.
6 if they,
Yeah.
that's got to be on your list, right?
Texans is one of them. Yeah,
It's
I picked the Bears to go
it's
10-7,
the two
and this is
games
one
that
of the
I
losses I
disliked.
picked.
The 2 games I disliked the most on the Bears schedule this year were the Houston Texans and the San Francisco
Niners.
49ers. Those
Yeah,
2 games were the games where I was like, "Ish," like you just don't want to see that team on your schedule. It's trouble. So like
yeah,
when I'm looking at that schedule and I'm giving the Bears 7 losses respectively, I'm the Texans are in the top of that list.
yeah, and they didn't do anything in week 1 to make me feel any different. They played a good game against what we think might be a little bit better of a team than people were giving credit for in the Indianapolis Colts. So I mean, and we saw what Joe Mixon added to this offense. So it makes it a really tough game for the Bears. So we think that, establishing a pass rush with our front four, not having to blitz, being able to drop as many people in coverage as possible is going to be a big key. I mean, you mentioned briefly the linebackers. I mean, Edmonds and Edwards, what kind of impact can they make on this game in your mind?
I think they can eliminate the run. I think Mixon is a good player, but he's not the most athletic player anymore. I think there was a day, man, but he's slowed down. You know, the Bengals obviously moved on from him. So I think,
I think they were kind of fucking dumb for that, bro. To be honest, look
yeah.
at
Well,
what
I
the
mean, there
Bengals
was
did.
more, but there was some allegation stuff. There was probably a little more behind it than we see, on the outside looking in.
Yeah.
But I think the Bears can. The Bears are so efficient against the run, man. If they're going to play the run the same way they did last year, it's going to be a problem for people all year for sure.
Okay, so we think we can eliminate the run, hopefully get a little bit of pass rush towards CJ Stroud.
The key to success for this Bears defense, sorry to cut you off, man, is just if you can get a quarterback to make a few mistakes, this secondary is going to rip you to
They'll
pieces.
capitalize on them.
Yeah,
They'll capitalize on the mistakes.
they have proved that for sure. Oh, we got a chat.
Michael thought it was a glitch when I saw you guys were live. Didn't think you guys stayed up this late. Well, Michael, just because you're a baby don't make me old, bro.
Thanks for coming in, Mike.
I can hang with the best of them. No, yeah, you can see that the whole day is wearing on us a little bit in this episode, but we're getting through it.
Yeah, I think the Bears can stop the run, man. I think that's
where I think the linebackers make the biggest impact in this game, man, is in pass coverage. I think Tremaine Edmonds in that cover too can really take away at Dalton Schultz, can take away Joe Mixon, who can make an impact in the receiving game for this Houston Texans team. And I mean, that's where I see them making the biggest impact is Tremaine Edmonds covering the middle of that field, taking away, those slants, making receivers think twice about coming across for him.
Edwards and Brisker, though, might be one of the best tandems against a run on any team's defense in the NFL.
Edwards is just really also good in coverage, though, man. Like he's got good speed, he's got good side to side ability.
He's good at getting the backfield, man. I don't know if he's elusive or squirmy or he hides. He seems to get through to the, especially on handoffs. He seems to be back there on us, but he's got a knack for it. And,
let's say this. Let's say our linebackers are worlds better than their linebackers, in my mind.
Yeah, I was going to say, if you want to do it real quick, like which unit's better for
our secondary, if you're matching it up against their secondary, we win that too. We got a better secondary unit. We got a better linebacker unit. And now you go down to the defensive line, and I think that's a tougher conversation.
we have better players inside. They have better players out. I love Sweat guys, but Will Anderson, actually, Sweat's probably I don't know. Danielle Hunter's had like 18 sacks in the season before or something.
Danielle Hunter's really good.
Those two guys are both better than Montez Sweat. I don't think Sweat's going to be. Sweat can get somewhere from the like 12 to 15 range. I don't see him being somewhere in like the 17, 18 range.
I mean, at worst, I call that a push. But if I had to lean one way, I'd probably go with their pass rushers over ours. I mean, to be honest, so I mean, that's probably an advantage for them there.
Yeah, and then if you win our tackles between Dexter, Billings, and moving Walker inside, I mean, how well did that go?
Brandon, we're definitely the people that have clowned on Poles for letting Roquan go and paying Edmonds over Roquan.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Yeah, I think just
as good as those. Let's not get it twisted. I mean, they're two quality players, and they got the two by getting
Roquan's better than
Roquan, and not just better.
Yeah, and I don't think that you're choosing between. I don't think you're choosing between Roquan and Edmonds and Edwards. You're just choosing between Roquan and Edmonds. You could have still had Edwards either way.
Oh yeah, Edmonds. Sorry, middle. But yeah, no, Roquan is probably the best linebacker in football, man. So I mean, you did let that happen. You know what I mean?
Uh-huh. Yeah. So, what, we get a second round pick that we traded for Chase Claypool in that?
Yeah. Mike, I can clown that. I'll still clown that a little bit. Roquan Smith is still
Roquan Smith is one of the best linebackers in football, top 3 probably. Yeah.
And you drafted him. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. He was at the end of his rookie deal. Like, it's just a contract you get done, man. But
yeah, that one everybody got a little sensitive in that one. But Edmonds is a solid player to have here, and I think he's going to have a hell of a game this Sunday. That will be important that the linebackers stay strong in coverage and then step up to stop the run, like you were saying, Brandon. They're going to have a big impact on this game in both the pass and the run, and might be the keys to shutting down one or both of those things.
If you go back to the week, Montez, the Tez effect, right? That's what they call it. This unit, that's what Eberflus called it, the Tez effect. But
yeah, he also has the hits principle too.
That guy, this unit's been special, man. since that acquisition. And I, like you, look at the numbers, they're almost not believable. Really, they're not. I think now, dating back to 5 weeks from the end of last season to this first week, they have 20 takeaways in 6 games, I believe.
Yeah,
That
that's an
is that
insane
is
clip that you just can't keep up.
no, and that's what it's funny,
Yeah.
man. I was talking to Kyle and I'm thinking we were having a conversation about the Bears defense, and I was like, they're really good. The linebackers and the secondary are incredible, but I told him like there's no way they sustain the rate in which they were taking the ball away. No way. And then
No.
week one comes around and they they
Well,
did
but
it. And
and
so
just from an analytics standpoint, you're correct. Like those numbers, they're way too eye popping to continue. They're going to regress to a norm.
I know you
And
read them and you don't believe them. It's just it's pretty
yeah.
incredible.
Now, if they can keep getting 1 or 2 turnovers a game, that's a really solid clip, and that's gonna win you a good amount of games. So I mean, that's
That's what scares me about Flus giving up play calling, man. Is this is a team that's taking the ball away at one of the highest rates in the NFL. It started when he took on play calling. Started when Montez Sweat came here, and maybe he just needed that piece in order to run the defense that he needed to run. But they're doing something right, man. And I mean, if they could sustain,
well,
like you
you don't
said,
need to be scared of Flus giving up play calling. It's not going to happen. I mean, we talk about it like
No,
as a
that's
thought
I'm not. I'm
experiment.
just saying that's the one place. If he did, that's the one thing I'd be worried about is the takeaway rate coming down, the turnover rate coming down.
Do you think that they win the turnover battle in this game?
I think it's going to be very little turnovers in this game.
Really?
But
Why?
yes, but yeah, I do
Why do you think that?
because I think they're going to. Well, first off, based on what the Bears saw to their offensive line, I think the offense is going to be a little higher paced. They're going to get the ball out of Caleb's hands like they should have week one quickly. They didn't do this stuff. And like if you go back, it was just like it was like Caleb had been in the league for 4 or 5 years. That's the way Shane Waldron planned week one. Like that was his game plan. But I think they're gonna come into this week getting the ball out of Caleb's hands. Regardless of the amount of pressure. But I think especially after watching that offensive line play, they know things are gonna have to be a little different, man. Like he just doesn't have the time that a quarterback behind like a line like that Lions line, Jared Goff. We just don't have that offense. It's not gonna ever be that.
Yeah, no. And when you combine our offensive line with their defensive pass rushers, that makes me concerned if we have any kind of, like I've said before, like I said earlier in the show, we got to limit the amount of times Caleb is dropping back.
I'm gonna be if I had to pick. Sorry, man. If I had to pick a team that loses the turnover battle, I would pick the Bears.
Really, this is a game I could see them winning the turnover battle and still losing the game.
Yeah, I'm an idiot for saying it because like I
No, you're not.
just listed the numbers, guys. This Bears defense is taking the ball away. I mean, it doesn't matter who they're playing. They're taking.
I'm an idiot earlier for thinking that Mario Adams was Mario Addison from like
Sorry, man.
2010.
Short memory in this game. Yeah, but yeah, this team just keeps taking the ball away. It's bad to bet against them. Don't bet on what I just said, guys. That the Bears would lose a turnover because this defense just takes the ball away, and they do it in different fashions, not just interceptions, man. I mean, they're forcing fumbles. They're getting after the football. So if I'm C.J. Stroud, I'm probably gonna have a little bit of trouble sleeping the night before. Man, these guys are playing at such a high rate.
CJ Stroud, I think, is cool as a fucking cucumber, man. I
Yeah,
don't think he's gonna have any trouble sleeping
but
at all, and I don't know that he has yet.
keep your guard up. That's for sure.
Oh, and he's great at that. And that's gonna be the toughest thing for this Bears defense in this game is his ability in the pocket, his wizardry, and his ability to make. I mean, bro, he made a throw in that game against the Colts. He got it in there over a cornerback in the zones.
Was it to Tank Dell?
It was to Nico Collins, I think, but it got dropped. It was his best throw of the game, and it was a drop on the sideline. Like it literally just snuck over one guy and right in front of the other guy, where it was right on the sideline where only his guy could grab it. It just bounced off his damn hands, man. It was just like he makes throws like it reminds me of Aaron Rodgers when you watch it. when you watch it. It feels like it's like that Wanted movie. Like he can kind of make it
He's throwing
move.
curveballs. Okay.
Yeah,
Yeah.
like it kind of just like his placement is really unbelievable, man. So that's where
Yes,
the Bears are going
Stroud's a good quarterback, and I don't necessarily believe that the Bears. When I looked at their schedule, I didn't just think like good quarterback, Bears lose, but he's one that is going to be in trouble.
I think it's the Bears still shut down the run in this game. They still find a way to do that. But last week where I didn't think Will Levis can beat us, I know for a fact that CJ Stroud can beat us
Right.
because the
If
way
you're
he
down
throws the ball.
17-0 to the Texans, that's probably a wrap,
Oh
man.
yeah,
Because
that's done.
I was
That's
watching
done.
that Titans game, thinking to myself like, Bears will get out of this. It's
If you're
just
up, if you're up 17-0 on the Texans, still watch out. Like because they can score quick. They
yeah.
can score quick. So that's the thing that scares me the most about this game is just how damn good CJ Stroud is and how good he is in bad situations where you think he might be dead to rights and he'll make a play out of it. That's the thing that scares me the
Yeah,
most in this game.
some like prime Russell Wilson stuff. Yeah, he's the
Yeah.
pocket moving's really good for him.
Yeah, he's
Yeah,
not looking to run very much, but he'll do it if he has to. But he's looking to make a play downfield.
no,
He's trying to find the big
he'll
play.
roll out. You know what I mean? He's a pretty good player. Guys that throwing on the move too. So he's got one
Bro,
hell
he'll
of an
do a
arm.
fucking headstand and kick the ball to somebody if he has to get a completion. That's what I'm saying with him. Like I just said, bro, he rolled out on a 4th and 1 last week. Just the turf just fell out from underneath him. He slipped right on his damn knees. He still gets the ball from his knees to the tight end for a first down on 4th down. Like that's shit. Like you can't defend that. Like you can't plan to defend that. That's just it's impossible. So that's going to win the Texans a lot of games this year against better teams than the Bears, probably too. So like that's what concerns me in this game, man. And is there a matchup we didn't touch on? You want to talk about like our tackles against their edge rushers, or our quarterback against their defender? I mean, we kind of touched on the Stingley thing. You got to be careful with him, or Stingley, whatever it is. You got to be careful with him. He's a ball hawk. But their secondary can be had. Their secondary can be had.
Yeah, I guess we talked about the ability. I mean, I guess I haven't spoken in defense of our tackles so far tonight by saying like these guys are going to set the edge. That probably means the tackles aren't doing the best job, but I think Darnell Wright will hold up, his end of the line. I don't, no matter who's over there, because these guys play on both sides, both players do. So Braxton's going to get beat a few times, man. You know that.
Okay, so is there? I mean, what's the plan then? Is it a tight end over there to help chip?
Mercedes Lewis, yeah, he's going to be.
Well, we said that last week going into that game, and we didn't really see him out there doing that at all.
No,
He
and you know
wasn't
what?
a part of
You know
that.
what didn't impress me last week, man?
Gerald Everett's
Gerald
blocking.
Everett's ability to block.
Yeah, it was awful.
Yeah,
he doesn't have an ability to block. He's not a good blocker in my mind. He never has been.
And Cole Kmet is serviceable for sure. Like he's had a couple of big blocks on some Bears touchdowns, but I would hope to see Cole Kmet and Mercedes Lewis in this game more than Gerald Everett, man. You're facing two. The problem is they've got one of those guys on both sides of the line. This is one of the rare situations in the NFL. Only 2 or 3 teams in the NFL have this luxury.
Well, what you do in that situation is maybe you give them an uneven lineup, and you just let that you run away from you focus on one side and take them out of the play, and you let the other guy be so far away from the play and where it's developing that he can't make an impact on it except behind it.
Yeah, push them out.
Yeah.
And I think they're probably going to run some naked here. You know what I mean? One of these guys, they're probably just going to let on through if they've got, the Bears have the ability to.
I don't like the idea of that in this game. I don't like the idea of them running.
I think almost every offense does it more than once in a game, man. But you're gonna see a few plays like that for sure.
Yeah, but like a guy like Daniil Hunter, letting him through, he's smart. He'll know what's happening and adjust quickly. And a guy like Will Anderson is so fast that even if he doesn't know what's happening, he can adjust quickly because
he's pretty damn smart too. Yeah, but I mean, like I said, both these guys are outstanding football players.
Yeah.
Man.
So I don't know about I meant more like in the run game. In the pass game, I don't like the idea that if Caleb is dropping back, I don't want to. I want a hand and a helmet on both of those guys anytime Caleb's dropping back. I'm not giving them a free release, even on a screen. Fuck that. Like they can just make a play that you don't expect them to make. So that's playing with fire in my mind. But I think our tackles can hold up decent. Darnell Wright for sure. Like you said, hopefully we can send some help Braxton Jones's way and kind of key it off that way. How do you see this game going? We both said we're not picking the Bears to win, but how do you see it finishing?
I could see the Bears offense defense holding the Texans offense to 17 or 20 points, man. But I see the
You
Bears
just said you could 17 or 20 points. The Texans, you can see the Bears holding the Texans to in this game.
Yeah.
Really?
Like 17 points. Yeah. I think they scored 21 last week, or was it 24?
The Texans?
Yeah.
They scored 29 last week.
Oh, 29. Okay.
They had 15 in the first half.
That Colts defense, man, is not something to brag about. But I think the Bears can hold them to 17 and 20 points. I think the Bears offense scores a touchdown and a whole lot of field goals. Like give them like maybe 2 field goals. So 20-13, something like that, man.
20-13. What's the over under in this game? Because I need some context.
I don't like giving the Bears a good score, man. I got us that offense. I'm not about to come out here and throw out the Bears lose 24-20, 21.
I can understand that, no doubt. I can understand that. I'm just curious what the over under is. Over under is 45, so that's we're way under. You're calling for 33 points. Vegas has a line set at 45, so that's like a super lock for you going the under in this game. I don't know that I can agree with you in terms of that. I don't think the Bears can hold. I think the number for, and I said this the other day, I think the number for the Bears to hold the Texans to have a chance to win is 24. If they can hold them to 24 that or less, that gives them a shot. Anything over that, I don't think they can win it. I think the Bears offense, if they do the things that we've talked about, that we've been talking about all week, and establishing the run and making the game easier.
They've been talking about all week.
Utilizing your tight ends, yes, utilizing your running backs in the receiving game. I think that those, now you throw in the fact that Rome Odunze and Keenan Allen might not play in this game, that makes it really, that's not addition by subtraction. That's kind of how you made it sound earlier when you're like, well, now they'll have to get these guys involved, but like, it's how hard the defense will be able to key on those guys a lot easier because they don't have other. Yeah, so that's,
and you threw out that DJ Moore has beaten people even when he's the only guy on the team. I just think this was my point there, man. Is I don't know if all pieces are available. We might still see some weird personnel stuff. If Keenan Allen and Rome Odunze weren't to be, I think you're going to see DJ Moore and Cole Kmet on the field the entire game.
But like, that's crazy to me that you just said that. If all of our pieces were available, you might still see some crazy personnel stuff. How much sense does that make?
I don't think that's something they fixed this week, man. I don't
have these guys for this reason.
Like I said, man, I hope
DJ and Keenan.
I hope Ryan Poles went in there and had a conversation. I really do.
No, right. I gave you DJ, players, Keenan, and Rome so that you can utilize them on the field at all times together. That's why I gave you those guys. DeAndre Swift is another guy that you throw into that mix, and now we're supposed to make the defense have a lot of questions about what the fuck they're supposed to do.
Cole Kmet can catch the damn ball, man. Like, that's another guy that needs to be on the field at most times.
Exactly. So it's like when you say, like, if that's the Bears fans' mentality, like right now, if there's someone else echoing your thought process of, I kind of hope that they have less people in the game so that they're forced
I'm not saying I hope. I'm not saying I hope.
Okay, I'm not trying to put words in your mouth.
Yeah, what I'm saying is I think you're gonna be forced in a position to where your best players need to be on the field if you have fewer of them.
I'm not trying to call out what you're saying. I'm trying to point out how crazy that is if that's true. I'm not trying to say that you're crazy for saying
Yeah,
it.
no,
What I'm
I think,
saying is
well,
how let me just like how if that's what has to happen for Shane Waldron to make that adjustment,
well, I think,
then
no, I don't know. It's
that's
not
fucked.
because I think Cole Kmet and DJ Moore are going to be on the field less if Roma Dunze and Keenan Allen are healthy.
Okay, but Roma Dunze was targeted 4 times. Like Keenan Allen 11 times, DJ Moore 8 times. So I mean, you're talking about 21 targets to just your receivers, right? Just those 3 receivers in that game. 21 of Caleb's 29 throws were to those guys. So do you? So you're saying that like if the distribution will be better if those guys if he doesn't feel the need to get targets to those guys? Like if Keenan Allen's not there, then that leaves 11 targets, theoretically. So you're saying that
Yeah, I think a
the
guy like
guys that we think need to be involved in this
And
game,
DeAndre Swift would benefit. I think that's where the targets, majority of those
they eat
targets
up
will
those
go.
targets, and you think
Yeah.
that benefits this Bears offense more so than those targets going where they went last week?
No, I don't think it benefits the offense. I'm just
Okay.
stating he'd be in a position where Cole Kmet, DeAndre Swift, DJ Moore are going to be on the field more often than not. If he's not forced in that, here's the thing, man. And I'm gonna pull a receipt here. We had a discussion on Chicago Sports Podcast about our concerns for the Bears. I've obviously I hammered the offensive line thing. I hammered the pass rush thing, and the other thing I said is everybody. There's a lot of Eberflus. The other thing I said is I don't know Shane Waldron. I really don't. I didn't watch a whole lot of Seattle Seahawks football. I know he did good things for Geno Smith. I didn't get to watch him a whole lot. And that's my biggest question mark is Shane Waldron was before the season started, and it still is this week now. I got to see these things get better. I got to see the personnel decision. I got to see DeAndre Carter and Travis Homer not on the field more often. Like, I got to see these things come to fruition before I'm willing to say he's fixed the problems.
And my point is that I want to see those with our full complement of weapons. I want to see
Yeah,
those things
as well as
with our
that, guys.
full
I don't
complement of
wish that
weapons,
Roman
not
Dunze
out
and
of
Keenan
like
Allen. Yeah,
necessity.
I want Roman Dunze and Keenan Allen on the field. Now, Roman Dunze is going to be a work in progress, anyways. He's not going to get, you know, 10 targets in a game. Most likely not. But
Well, I mean, hey, uh, Malik Neighbors just, who was, compared to Rome throughout the draft process and MHJ, like, MHJ had a down game, but Malik Neighbors showed rookie wide receiver can be the number one wide receiver for a team, So, I mean, like, I think
I believe Roma Dunze is the number one wide receiver on the Bears. I just don't know if I believe that today.
yeah. So we can hope for good health going into this game. We can hope
Yeah,
for
I agree with you, Dustin. Our assumption here, guys, is that Rome does not play. Keenan Allen does,
yeah,
but
and
he's
if
going
we
to have
got
to get practice in tomorrow, or he doesn't. If Keenan does not participate in practice tomorrow, he won't play on Sunday.
I don't know if I go that far. I mean, I think Keenan is
It's very rare a player misses Friday, man, and plays a football game. That's just it's not.
yeah, but they're Sunday night. They're not Sunday at noon. That makes a difference. And also it's Keenan Allen, who's a guy who's worked through injuries and played through injuries. So it's a little different in that regard. It's not like the norm, but I get what you're saying. But if we have Keenan and DJ out there, I think the Bears have a much better chance than if they don't have Keenan out there. I don't think the Bears win this game. I don't think that they hold the Texans under 24 points. I think the Texans are going to put up 28 on us, maybe 31. Yeah, probably 31. We'll go 31. And the Bears hopefully can put up, 21. I think it's probably I think it's probably a 10-point loss here at least, man. I'm not saying that like excited or anything, but this this Bears defense is really good, but that Houston Texans offense is really fucking good too. So this it's
Yeah,
going
I
to be
mean
hard
that's
to keep them down all game and keep them out of the end zone, man. You're gonna have to keep up with them on offense, as far as I can
well, yeah.
tell.
I was just gonna say that's the game might be won here by the offense just moving the ball.
Mm.
Like they can't, the defense can't be on the field this entire game.
Yeah, man. I think we see it in two very different ways because I'm seeing this being a higher scoring game, somewhere in that 48 to 50 points total put up in this game. You're seeing like a good 30 to 35 being put up in like what is a defensive slugfest. I think if it's that game, Brandon, I think I reverse those scores. If I see a 20 to 13 game, the Bears are winning that game. The Bears are the
I
one with
mean, you
20.
just you
I don't
gotta
think the
prove,
Texans have the defense to
gotta prove to me
win
this
that
off.
kind of game.
Gotta prove to me though this offense can get the ball in the end zone, man.
For sure. It's not you don't have to get in the end zone very much on offense to get 20 points. The Bears didn't get in
I
the end
believe
zone on offense once and scored 24 in this past week.
here's probably a statistic most people will be mad at me for. I believe the only two teams that didn't get in the end zone this over in
The
week one.
Panthers.
No,
Was it
they
the
did.
Panthers?
Bryce Young
Panthers
scored a
did?
touchdown. It was
Oh,
Justin Fields and the
okay.
Bears. Those are the only two teams that did not score a touchdown on offense. Bo
Well,
Nix ran a touchdown.
do you get what I'm
Like,
saying with that though? Like, I think if this is a low scoring game, I favor the Bears. I don't think the Texans have the offense that has patience enough to be in that kind of game. I think CJ Stroud expects, points. I think Stephon Diggs expects targets. I think Nico Collins, Joe Mixon he just had 32 carries last week. I don't think that the Texans have the patience or the wherewithal to that's a game the Bears win. If they get into that type of game, that's right up the Bears' alley, and that's not what the Texans are about at all. They're about getting the lead and going after the quarterback on defense with their pass rush. Their team scores points. So, me being that I see it as a win for the Texans, I think that there's going to be some points put up in this game, similar to way that Colts game was last week with them. But if it goes the way you're saying, I like the Bears in that kind of game.
I probably still don't like the Bears, but
I think they're more equipped to win that type of game than the Texans.
I could see Joe Mixon running a couple of touchdowns. I don't know. If they get anywhere inside the 5, that guy's a problem.
Yeah, for sure. All right. You got anything else for us tonight, Brandon? Did we miss anything?
No, guys, you can check us out again Monday at 6.
Monday at 6, we got the House Hall hangover.
Shout out to River Street Tavern, guys. Located in 102 River Street, East Dundee. Kyle, as you know, one of the 4 stars here, Tens Bar. It's a cool place, a lot of sports. That place lives and breathes sports. They have some pretty good specials, $2 burgers on Wednesday night. I don't know where you're going to find that. Half-price wings on Sunday. So, yeah, go check out Kyle. Go check out River Street Tavern.
Okay, and then go check out this Bears game this Sunday. And hopefully it's a win, guys. I would love to see the Bears compete in this game. We'll be back to recap it.
Check out Chicago Sports Podcast too, guys.
Chicago Sports Podcast. So Monday, 6:00, we'll do the 4 stars Hallis hangover, and then at 9:00 we'll have a recap show on CSP for the game as well. They're both great. They're both a lot of fun to do. So hopefully you can come see us for all of them. A lot of Bears content will be coming your way. I think it's a big weekend for the Bears. Sunday Night Football, their prime time. So again, hopefully we win. I'm not seeing it, but hopefully I'm wrong.
Yeah, that'd be a statement. That would be a statement, man.
Yeah, if they start their season out 2-0 after that type of win against the Titans this past Sunday, and they find a way to beat what looks like a top 5 team in the league to me the following Sunday on Sunday night primetime, that's a hell of a way to start your season. And then it's really a soft schedule until their bye week and then even after that.
They don't necessarily care about this, man, but if you want to silence the talk, silence the doubt, you go and win that football game. You're gonna have all these, oh, Caleb wasn't the generational guy he's supposed to. You're gonna have all those people like, well, damn.
Is Caleb the next Bryce Young?
They're gonna have to. Caleb's gonna have to score some points for the Bears to win this game. That's the one thing I do know.
That's what I'm saying. Like it'll need to be an offensive game. I mean, but like
I mean, literally score points. I mean, like more than 0. They're gonna have to score some damn points, dude. Like,
yeah. I mean, it'll be a hell of a thing to see Caleb outduel CJ Stroud in Houston on Sunday night.
I was thinking to myself, man, is this a game that Caleb takes personally? Because he said he utilizes this stuff. It's like his ammunition. Is this one of the receipts he saved when he was talking about saving people's the talk he's reading online? Like, it's always CJ Stroud comparisons. You know what I mean?
It is?
It's a lot of people
Yeah.
are like, can
Yeah,
Caleb
it's
be?
like,
Oh
can
yeah,
he
you
be the
were
next
okay. I
CJ
thought,
Stroud?
yeah, like he's probably heard that name a lot. I wonder if this isn't a game that he's like, I'm doing my
Well,
damn thing tonight.
if he is any competitor at all at the quarterback position, then fuck yeah, it is, because like you're saying, CJ Stroud is kind of that poster child for that early success quarterback in the NFL. He had a pretty solid game to start this season. He's all over media. Like, if you want to establish yourself, this is a game to do it for sure. If you want to establish yourself as that next person, I mean,
When,
that's a quick changing of the guard, though. CJ Stroud's only in the
yeah,
second season.
and CJ's kind of looked at the same as Caleb. Caleb got the title, and I hate this word, guys, but he got the title before he left college as generational talent. After the rookie season we saw from Stroud, I could hear that word come out of people's mouths. Like, are we watching a generational talent? CJ Stroud will get better than he was as a rookie, guys, and he was a really damn good rookie. So
Yeah, no, and it's very possible that we're watching this year's Rookie of the Year against last year's Rookie of the Year. That's an interesting thing to think about. Again, it's so hard with the way that offense looked. Like, if that's the only picture we have in our head of what this offense looks like, it's really hard to imagine where they go from there.
no,
Like,
I've
anything's better than that
like I
kind
said, the one thing I've just kept faith in is I don't think it's going to be something that happens over a long course of time. I don't think you're going to see Caleb like like instead of his 56% completion, 55 that he had, he's going to be like 59, and then he's going to be like 62. I think he's just going to have a good game where you're like, okay, this is the guy we drafted right here. I don't
bro.
know if it's going to be against the Texans, but I think he's just going to come out and throw a few touchdowns, throw a couple 100 yards, and show people like I'm that dude you drafted. I'm the guy you expected and waited on.
Here's one thing to think about. This past Sunday, Anthony Richardson threw three passes. I think he threw like 10 passes the whole game and threw for like 250 yards. He threw three passes of 50 yards or more in that game for touchdowns. I'm pretty like something insane. So this Texans secondary can be exploited over the top. Let's let's call Tyler Scott an X factor in this game, in terms of somebody that can take the top off the defense and be what Alec Pierce was last week for the Indianapolis Colts.
Yeah,
That guy that
yeah, he
surprised.
burns. He burns,
Yeah,
man, for
no,
sure.
no.
I really want to see Scott more in general, man. I liked the big pass in the preseason. He put that right on the money. It seems like he's familiar with Scott's speed, where the ball needs to be, because he's a fast guy and he's a lot faster than the rest of this receiver core. But he obviously drew the pass interference, which is great to do in the regular season as well, guys. But I think Caleb is a pretty damn good. A lot of people like I know he's not the most accurate passer. He's got a pretty damn good deep ball. So a
I
guy
think
like
we're
that,
gonna see that. I think we're gonna see that this Sunday. The Bears watch the tape. The Bears are watching the tape of that Houston Indianapolis game. They're seeing that Houston secondary can be exploited in that way, and I think we're gonna see. I think we're gonna see some of those passes this week actually get completed. It's gonna. Can we just imagine and ruminate for a second on the feeling of watching Caleb complete a 60-yard touchdown pass to DJ Moore or Tyler Scott or Keenan Allen plays? Like, how good is
like
that going to feel?
DeAndre Swift, even whomever. Yeah.
No, that DeAndre Swift, he'll be
No, I
throwing
know
it 5 yards in the
a
air.
pass in the air. Yeah,
Yeah, yeah.
yeah, man. I mean, it's gonna come. It's gonna come. I don't know if it's gonna be against the Texans, but it's gonna come. We're gonna see those touchdowns. Caleb's gonna throw those touchdowns. The best quarterbacks in the
I
league,
think we're going
guys.
to see at least one this Sunday. I
The
think we're going to
best
see at least
quarterbacks in the league throw those plays, those big explosive plays. Man, if you're going to be an elite quarterback in the NFL, you have got to get a few of those in a game. They don't have to all be touchdowns, but you got to get a few
That's what kept the Colts in that
People
game
feel
against the
sad.
Texans. So just pointing that out for Bears fans going into this game. If you feel the way I feel, where it's like, if I'm doing power rankings, Houston's 5 for me, but Chicago's probably 19, 20. Like, so those aren't really comparable teams. So the way I'm looking at it is like, if on paper this is a win for the Texans, but one way the Bears could potentially exploit them could be the most fun possible way for us Bears fans after what we saw this past Sunday is Caleb Williams taking the top off this fucking defense. And
Yeah,
that could be a
and
lot of fun.
it's funny because we're going into week 2, and we're we all projected the Texans to win this game. We still do, but going into week 2, the same feeling you had all off season, man, is like, when's this guy gonna do it? You're just waiting. Like
That
it's like I
anticipation
said. I sent you guys a
it's
text.
gonna
This
boil
this
over.
I said to you guys, it's a shitty feeling, right? The way we were losing week 1 when Caleb was missing those throws, I was like, it just felt relatable as a
Now we're
Bears fan.
used to it. Yeah, we're
Yeah.
used to it.
So that's what like really aggravated me the most about what the offense did is it just felt all too familiar. So we're still waiting to be like, this is the modern day off. This is the Bears. You know, what I mean,
We
this
can
is
celebrate a little bit.
this is
Yeah.
this is the offense we thought, like the offense that's going to compete with the best offenses in this league. So hopefully, man, it'd be really good. That's the way the Bears win this game is if that comes out. Like,
That would be amazing. That
yeah,
would be
the
amazing.
Keenan Allen. I mean, guys, the acquisitions haven't gotten any lesser just because they had a bad week 1. Keenan Allen, Roma Dunze, DJ Moore, DeAndre Swift. The pieces on this offense can tear anybody apart.
Could you imagine Caleb's coming out party is on prime time against Stroud with the whole country watching?
Yeah, that's what we are kind of saying.
Yeah.
Like this would
Yeah,
really
man.
silence the doubt. This would really make
Thanks
a
for being here,
statement.
man.
This would make a statement for this whole damn Bears team. I mean, imagine how the defense will feel if Caleb comes out and wins a football game.
How galvanizing that will be for
Yeah,
the team.
after they've suffered for so long playing quality football, man.
Yeah, and Kevin Byard was just saying, hey, it's not going to be the defense every week, right? It's going to
Yep.
be the offense is
But
going to have to win
he
some games
said,
for
don't
us.
worry, offense, you're gonna win us some games.
Yeah. What if he just predicted the future for this game? Because
Yeah.
like this Texans offense is just not a joke, man. I don't care how good your defense is. This team can score points on you. You could
Yeah,
be
they've got talent across the board.
85 Bears. They're going to score some points on you. So that's something to think about here is like, is this the game that the offense picks up the defense and carries them to the W? And then how much does that bring this team to that much more together, bro? Like that's a crazy thought for sure. I mean,
And just
that's all hypothetical, obviously.
think about that headline. After the Bears did what they did in week 1, if their defense just blundered and Caleb came out and won the damn game, like
Mhm.
the Bears, like the headlines you read about which unit on the Bears is gonna win this game, you know what I mean?
What's great is that the Bears got the week 1 win, so we don't have to hear about teams that start 0-2 have a 7% chance of making the playoffs or whatever that is. So a lot of opportunities and doors are still open for this team. So we'll see if they walk through one this Sunday or if they take a little step back in terms of their record, in terms of
Predict
how
the
people are
expectations.
perceiving them nationally with those expectations. Yeah. So it's really fun to say the least because I really don't know what to expect. We can say that we predict these scores and there's going to be this, and look how far off ours are. Just between me and you, like I'm thinking 31-21 or 24, and you're thinking 20-13. That's how up in the air and this team is right now in terms of what our expectations are.
Yeah.
So it's going to be a lot of fun on Sunday, guys. Brandon,
Absolutely.
I appreciate you, boss. Michael, thank you for being here. Bearski checked in. That was awesome, too. I know we're on here late. It's already 1:15 in the morning, guys. Chicago time. We got shit to do tomorrow, man. Let's get some sleep.
All right, brother.
All right, let's go get some high Bear Nation. All right. This is 4-Star Chicago Sports. We're the two idiots that are not the other two idiots. Have a great rest of your fucking night, guys.
There you
Bear
go.
down.